Hello YouTube, this is WW Solo Trucker coming at you again with another video. I started this video earlier today, but it didn't come out too good, so I said, well, I better do it again. Okay, so this is take two. Today's video it's not really, well, yeah, it is a trucking video. It's about trucking, but usually I talk about, scales and trucking life and paperwork and things like this, but today I want to talk about something that it's kind of been in the news a lot, and it's kind of got me wondering too, or worried I should say, but electric trucks. A lot of people, especially a lot of our representatives, politicians, the state, federal representatives, they're all pushing this electric trucks thing. Even the president and vice president are pushing it a lot. And it was sometime last year, I saw where the governor of New York, she was saying that she's going to get the entire state of New York on all electric trucks, all electric vehicles, totally, in 3 years. And there was about a month or two ago, I think it was one of the senators from Colorado was saying something on the same lines. He said he was going to, push to get Colorado on all electric trucks in just a couple of years. And I've only got one thing that I can think of when someone says something like that, and that's good luck. You can't do something that massive on that big of a scale in a short period of time. It would take 5-10 years, maybe even longer, to completely replace all of the diesel trucks. And it's not all diesel trucks too. There's a lot of gas trucks. A lot of the class 3 and class 4 trucks are gas burners. So, and they're wanting to get rid of all of them. Put them all on electric. And just the logistical side of that would be an undertaking that it would take way too long time. I mean, just getting a diesel truck now, if you go to like Freightliner or Peterbilt or Kenworth, somebody like that, and you try and get a new truck, they put you on a waiting list. Even the fleets, even the big fleets, like Snyder and JB Hunt and all the big fleets, they usually order them by the dozens, but they can't do that now because of the demand is so high that the factories can't keep up with it. The big fleets, like I said, they usually get them by the dozen. They're only getting them, by 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time. So that part right there would be extremely difficult. And then you got to dispose of the old trucks, the diesel trucks, because a lot of the diesel trucks that are around now and still running have been around for decades. They've just been updated and rebuilt over time as needed, because these diesel tractors, they last a lot longer than a car. So it's not like the recycle thing that's going on with a lot of the cars now, throwaway cars after so many years. These diesel trucks are just being rebuilt, put right back on the road. There's lots of them like that. So that logistical part of it would take years and years and years and years to do. And you would have a lot of people, a lot of drivers that would quit the business, that would go on and do something else because they don't want to drive electric trucks. Personally, to me, I don't care either way, as long as it does the job. I get my paycheck regardless of what kind of truck I drive. It don't matter. Every mile I turn, I get the same amount of money. I get my paycheck, my bills are paid, money in the bank. I'm not concerned with it, as long as I don't have any more problems out of an electric truck that I have on these regular diesel trucks that I have, it's not more problems, then I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. And I'm for being green too, as much as possible. But I can tell you that we're not going to go all electric. And I'll give you a couple of scenarios and a couple reasons why it's not going to happen. I've done giving you a couple of them already, but to go a little bit further, the one manufacturer, Tesla, I know they have a diesel truck. I think Freightliner has one too, but I'm not sure. And if it is, if they do have one, it's probably still in the R&D stage. So it's limited amount of production that's going into it. A lot of things. Okay, the batteries, the Tesla truck, and the things that I saw about the Tesla truck. I haven't driven one, because there's not many around, if any at all, in the U.S. The Tesla truck did really good. It had good ratings. It did the job okay. It's got plenty of torque, plenty of horsepower. But that truck was built from the ground up to be an electric truck. And the trucks that we have now that have battery APUs, they don't have specialized batteries in them. A lot of them will have gel cell batteries, which are smaller and lighter, more compact, and they give you the same amount of power that a full-size lead acid flooded battery does. But even those, they don't last long. And here's an instance. The company I ran for before the company I'm running for now, the truck, I had one truck the whole time. I was with it for almost 2 years. I had one truck that entire time. I must have put 300,000 miles on that truck, maybe even 400,000. They had the same setup as this truck I got now. It's 8 batteries, 8 diesel deep cycle. I think they are 12 or 1500 cold cranking amps. So they're about twice as much as what your normal car batteries got. But there's 8 of them. And the first day I took that truck out with the other company, it just died on me. All the batteries died. I don't know why. I don't know. They put all new batteries in it, and the APU, it worked fine for it took 3 or 4 months, and then it just stopped working. The batteries wouldn't hold voltage if the engine was turned off. My theory is, and this is probably what the deal is, these batteries are just regular, automotive type batteries. They're not specialized batteries for an all-electric vehicle. So the drain is so much on them because all it does is power an air conditioner. There's an extra air conditioner back here in the bunk, like I got here, and it's powered by the batteries. And there was no problem with the air conditioner itself. It was fine because I also had a voltmeter back there that would tell me the voltage of the batteries, and the voltage wouldn't stay up. It would always drop down as soon as I turned the engine off. It would run for a little while, and then the voltage would just drop. When it gets down to like 11 volts, the whole thing cuts off. And I turned it into the shop again. They said, we're going to be trading that truck in pretty soon, so we're just going to set you to idle. So I just idle, and I try and be pretty adamant with my idling. If I'm not in the truck and I'm going into a restaurant to eat or something like that, I know I'm going to be away from the truck for a while, I'll turn it off, so I'm not idling too much. But there are lots and lots of trucks out there doing that. So the batteries that we have now they're really not optimized for electric vehicle use. the ones in the cars that, a lot of manufacturers have started making electric vehicles now. Chevrolet, Nissan, Tesla, all of them. They all got electric vehicles, but they have specialized batteries in them, and I think they can be recharged in like 30 minutes. Although that's not the best way to charge a battery. The best way to charge a battery is to trickle charge it with really low voltage over a long period of time, 8, 10, 12, 16 hours. That's the best way to charge a battery. But they've set up these higher voltage charging stations just to get them, charged quicker. So that's another problem we have. And I'm just getting started now with the problems that we would run into. I know you guys remember Katrina, right? That happened in 2005, 2000, I don't remember what year it was. The big hurricane that came through and knocked out all the power in almost all Louisiana and a good portion of Mississippi and a good portion of eastern Texas, and it was like 2 weeks, no power and everything like that. If we had an all-electric fleet, if the fleet was all electric, you could get the trucks in, but once they got into the area where there was no power, they're going to be stuck there because they can't be recharged. That is a huge mistake just waiting to happen. That would be catastrophic. It would be so bad. So, you got to have diesels. We're going to have diesels. A winter storm would be even worse. Some winter storms that we have cover several states. And power is knocked out to millions of people. So there's no way to recharge the batteries. I think the Tesla truck, I think it was like 6 hours to reach. I'm not exactly sure how long it took to recharge it, but it wasn't 30 minutes. Because this is a big, huge battery. You could prolong the distance that the truck could go, instead of 300 or 400 miles, maybe 600 maximum with that battery by adding another battery, putting a bigger battery in it. But that was one of the problems that they had with the Tesla truck. The battery was so big and so heavy, it weighed just as much as a diesel engine, which is about a ton, almost 2,000 pounds, or maybe more than 2,000 pounds. It was a lot of weight. So you would be adding so much weight that you would be losing some freight that you could haul if you added extra batteries. And those motors, those DC motors, AC motors, I'm sorry, they are very, very powerful motors, and they're heavy too. And they burn out quite a bit. So, there's something else. Let's see. There was something else. Okay, yeah. The other thing was the way. Two more subjects here on this thing. The OTR tractors, like the one I'm in. I'm back and forth Charlotte, North Carolina to Chicago, Illinois, and back and forth twice a week. And I've got enough miles to where my hours are done and I've got a good paycheck. This truck doesn't stop running very often, not very much at all. So you can't, if you have to have some downtime to recharge the batteries. You're going to need hours. So with an OTR truck, you got to have power 24/7. You got to have that power. You can't be without power in an OTR tractor because they're made to be self-sufficient. They're not made to be tethered to something. Now, the way I see that it could happen, we could possibly do this, and it would have to be done in increments, in phases, and it would, I think, even doing this would take 5 to 10 years to do, because you'd have to do it a bit at a time. Local trucks. A lot of local trucks are only driven, by one driver for 8 or 10 hours. and then he takes it back to the yard, parks it, and he comes back in 14, 16 hours, whatever, and does his route again. So he could park it, plug it in, recharge it, come back after his, doing his next shift. That could work out. So, and I've seen this. This is going on in a city called Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I think it's not their garbage trucks, but their recycle trucks. Where their yard is right near the Interstate 52 on the north side of Winston-Salem, near the airport. And I go by that way quite a bit on my route. A lot of times it sends me up that way, and you can see their yard from the interstate. And I've seen, their charging area. And if I'm there at night, go through there at night or late in the afternoon, they got other trucks parked there. And there must be 20 or 30, maybe even more. Because, I just quickly glance over there. I don't stare. I keep my eyes straight forward, but, there's at least 20 or 30 charging stations there. And, the trucks are all plugged in, and that can work. So those trucks, maybe garbage trucks, maybe school buses, transit buses, and maybe even possibly the class 3, class 4 trucks that like your UPS guys and your DHL guys and your FedEx guys that you see riding around the neighborhood delivering your packages. Those guys, those trucks a lot of them are diesel. A lot of them are gas, but a lot of them are also diesel. You could possibly do those, but I really think that, and the reason why is because there is a whole lot more of those trucks on the road than there are OTR tractors, like I have. And I'm not exactly sure the number, but it was like a year or two ago I looked, and I think it was like 3.5 million OTR tractors, just OTR tractors, like what I got. And there's bound to be 2, 3, maybe even 4 times that amount of the smaller class 3s and class 4s. The OTR tractor is going to be a class 7 or a class 6 because of its weight and its size, engine size, weight, capacity. The amount of axles. That's got a lot to do with the classes. And the class 3s and the class 4s and the class 2s, those are your little box trucks that like I said, your delivery trucks you see running around, UPS and guys like that. Most of those are local. But if we're talking about all of them, including all the cities and counties, waste trucks and, the city transit buses and the school buses, if they're all plugged into the grid, and they're going to have to be charged every single day or every afternoon and night, all of them plugged into the grid at one time, that is going to be a huge, huge draw on the grid. So there would have to be a lot more infrastructure set up prior to doing that. And I'm pretty sure it takes 2, 3, 4 years to build a major power plant, maybe even more. So, it's just not possible. You've got to have downtime to recharge, and if it's got to be running 24/7 like an OTR tractor, it's just not practical. It's just not practical at all. The diesel APUs are okay. They're just little small 2-cylinder diesel engines that are attached to the side of the frame. And when you get parked, I've had a couple of those too. When you get parked, you turn your big engine off and you turn that little engine on, and it gives you power for your air conditioner. And most of them, I think they have like what do you call like in the house, heat pumps type thing, where you got heat and AC. A lot of them will have that because those really put out quite a bit of voltage. But these battery APUs that we have, they're not designed for prolonged use. They're designed to be hooked up to an alternator and to be kept topped off. Or if you got a solar unit, solar setup, the charge controller and the solar panels keeps them topped off. That is the way these batteries, these regular automotive batteries, are designed. That's what they're designed to do. Just be, if you don't keep them constantly topped off, and you're just drawing voltage and amps out of them, they're not going to last long. They're going to die, and then you're going to have to take them apart and get rid of all of the lead acid, and stuff like that. And then you're going to have you could create an entire industry to do that. You could, but you would have so much toxic waste. What would you do with all that toxic waste? You couldn't just dump it. So, these are things that you need to think about. When you see politicians saying, "Oh, we're going to go all electric in 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is," the only thing they're trying to do is get you to vote for them. That's all. A politician will say anything, even if it's not a complete truth, even if there's bits of false information in there, or completely lie, like a lot of them do. They will say it just to get you to vote for them. And the reason why they do it and they get away with it is because they know that no matter, even if they win the election, they can't come through and get all of their issues passed. Those things have never happened in the past. It'll never happen in the future. Only certain things go through, and some things. Look what's going on right now with our current president, who can't even get his budget gone through because there's so much hidden agenda in there. Which, that's another story completely. That really doesn't have anything to do with trucking. I didn't want to say anything about that, but I just want you people to understand that these politicians saying this stuff, it's not going to happen in a short period of time. I'm not against it 100%, but it will take a very long time, and we will need to keep some diesels in the fleet, especially all the OTR tractors. They need to be diesels. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I'm sorry if it was a rant, but it's something that's really going around now. There's a lot of people talking about it, and I want to give some input. These politicians, most of them know nothing about this type of stuff. I'm out here living this stuff. I know what it's like. I don't know everything, but I'm out here doing the job. I know the way things work. And these politicians, they have people who have, knowledge, and they may have some people who have a lot of knowledge about it, as much as me and even more, and they might not even listen to them. They might, that's not going to do us any good. We're going to go with this, So, don't believe everything you hear politicians say. I guess that's all I got to say. Okay, WW Solo Trucker out.